Overprotective Hiashi, Hinata's father takes on Naruto. Episode 61, Rana, did Hinata sleep? Already asleep. Hinata nodded and said, you should be careful during this time. After the Cloud Shadow Messenger came to Konoha, I always had a bad premonition, something might happen during this time. Hinata is not good to say directly. I know that the Cloud Shadow Messenger will come to steal Hinata, so I use premonition as an excuse. Cloud Shadow Messenger? Husband, when you saw them at the banquet, did they have anything unusual about them? Not unusual. Hinata Hiashi shook his head and said, but at this point in time, they must have bad intentions when they come to Konoha, and they are interested in not much, and I am worried that they will make a move against Hinata, because of the white eyes? Yes. Hinata Rihanna's face sank slightly. Husband Kuan, don't worry, I will definitely protect Hinata. I have adapted to the chakra eye you gave me. What about Mitsuki? What was she doing during this time? Husband Kuan, you finally remember that Mitsuki is coming. Hinata Hiashi showed an embarrassed expression. Mitsuki has been training all this time and has not done anything else. Hinata nodded. During that time, you guys try to go out as little as possible. When I'm not at home, the three of you stay together as much as possible. With Ryona's ability to write chakra eyes, coupled with Mitsuki's strength, you should be able to protect Hinata. Even if it is only necessary to delay for a certain amount of time, it is enough. The night is getting richer. A cool breeze blows. Suddenly, Hinata opened her eyes. The sound of footsteps falling entered Hinata's ears. Who? Hinata looked outside. A figure stands just outside the window. However, at the moment when Hinata spoke up, this person instantly retreated. This person is naturally Captain Cloud Shadow. The figure moved, leaving Hinata's yard. Captain Cloud Shadow's eyes narrowed slightly. It's really worthy of being the patriarch of the Hyuga Clan, just such a little movement, you can detect it. I have tried my best to control the sound of my landing. Tonight, I'm afraid I can't move anymore. Captain Kumokage glanced in the direction where Hinata was. Husband Kuan? Ryona Hinata woke up. Hinata Hiashi looked outside and frowned. I just heard a little movement outside. Who is it? I don't know. Hinata Hiashi really didn't see clearly. Hinata Hayashi's reaction was fast, but the other party's reaction was not slow, and it disappeared at once, very cautious, and did not give Hinata Hiashi a chance to catch up. However, it is very likely that it is the people of Yunin village. Hinata took Hyuga Ryona and said, it's okay, that person has been discovered, and it is impossible to come back tonight. But Captain Kumokage and Hinata's thoughts are not the same. If you leave today, Hinata's vigilance will definitely deepen in the next few days. Then, the only chance to get a blank eye is tonight. Adopt the strategy of attacking the east and the west to lead Hinata Hiashi away, otherwise, Hinata Hiashi is present. I'm afraid I won't be this person's opponent, go back first. Captain Cloud Shadow returned to the resting place first. A few of you, come here. Captain Kumokage arranged a plan, and then came to Hinata's station again. On the other side, a Cloud Shadow came to the residence of the Uchiha clan. The house in front is where Uchiha Izumi is, it's going well, Uchiha's defense, but so, what is the world's first ninja family, However, their chakra eyes do work. After going back this time, I can apply with the above and have one of the Sharingan transplanted to me. After all, I brought the eyes back. The Cloud Ninja glanced around, and then, lightly jumped down. Uchiha Izumi and his mother have fallen into a deep sleep. First get it hooked with smoke. The Yunin ninja took out something from his arms, poked the paper on the window, lit the thing in his hand, and reached into the room, and in a short while, the smoke enveloped the entire room. Ahem. Uchiha Izumi coughed and subconsciously turned around, but under the influence of the smoke, he did not wake up. Almost. Cloud Ninja opened the window and flipped in. Neither Uchiha nor his mother woke up. The Yunin ninja took out a cloth, covered Uchiha Izumi's mouth, and plugged it tightly, and immediately, the Yunin ninja looked at Uchiha Izumi's mother on the bed, and his thoughts moved. When the effect of the smoke disappears, this person will definitely find that his daughter is missing. In that case, then I will kill her, and I can buy a little more time. Take out a kunai and stab it in. Poof. Uchiha Izumi's mother's throat was directly cut. A large amount of blood splattered out. Uchiha Izumi's mother woke up, covered her throat vigorously, and glared at the Yunin ninja deadly. Who are you? What are you going to do? The Yunin ninja sneered. Dead old woman, this is none of your business, die with peace of mind. Another thorn. Uchiha's mother was completely lifeless. The Yunin ninja carried Uchiha Izumi behind him. I don't know if the captain's side is going well. After getting the white eye and the riding wheel eye, our gain this time is huge, and laying will definitely reward us. Episode 62, Hinata Hayashi comforted Hinata Ryona to sleep, but Hinata Hayashi herself did not close her eyes, but looked outside. If I were that cloud shadow messenger, then I would either give up or choose to come again tonight, because after tonight, Hinata must be on guard, and then there would be no chance at all. I don't know what kind of decision that cloud shadow envoy will make. If the latter, then... Hinata's face turned cold. On the other side, Uchiha Station. A cloud shadow messenger carried the unconscious Uchiha Izumi on his back and quickly left. However, at this moment, a figure suddenly caught up. The cloud shadow messenger's expression tightened, a flash, entered the darkness, turned around, and when he saw the appearance of the pursuer clearly, he suddenly breathed a sigh of relief, and a hint of teasing appeared at the corner of his mouth. It turned out to be just a ghost. I've been worried for so long. Humph, a little ghost, dare to chase me alone, do you think that I am so good to deal with, or is it that Konoha's little ghosts are so self-aware? Uchiha Itachi's expression was solemn. This is the first time that Uchiha Itachi has faced an opponent of such strength, and the other party will definitely not keep his hand. As long as he has the opportunity, he will definitely kill himself. The cloud shadow messenger tied the rope on his back a little tighter. Then, let me see how difficult you little devil is. A sword appeared in the hands of the cloud shadow messenger. The ninja route of Yunin village is different from Konoha's. Konoha is a variety of ninjas, ninjutsu, occult arts, blood succession limits, etc., while Yunin village, based on thunder and physical arts. In addition, there is kendo. However, there are many people who practice kendo in Yunin village, but among the swordsmanship, the most representative person is still in Konoha. Konoha White Fang. It can also be seen from here that Konoha is indeed the strongest one among the 5 major ninja villages. But now, it's going downhill. Uchiha took out a few shurikens. At this point in time, Uchiha has not yet opened the Sharingan, and it will not be until after graduation and witnessing the death of his teammates that he will be stimulated to awaken the Sharingan. Therefore, the only things that Uchiha can use are those things that he learned in ninja school. Doppelganger, Transfiguration, Avatar, Shuriken, Physical Arts, and Ancestral Fire. The next moment, the Cloud Shadow Envoy suddenly moved. So fast. Uchiha's pupil shrank. Even though the Cloud Shadow Envoy was carrying a person on his back, the speed of the Cloud Shadow Envoy was still far beyond that of Uchiha Weasel, and he arrived in front of Uchiha Weasel almost instantly. Phew! Raising his hand, the Cloud Shadow Messenger stabbed the blade towards Uchiha. But at this moment, Uchiha Itachi's shuriken shot out. The Cloud Shadow Emissary could only collect the knife and shoot down the shuriken. Just now, the Cloud Shadow Envoy could indeed kill Uchiha Itachi, but he would inevitably be injured by a shuriken hit, which was not what the Cloud Shadow Emissary wanted. In the opinion of the Cloud Shadow Messenger, it is just to deal with a little ghost, and if they have to exchange injuries for injuries, it will be too failed. What the Cloud Shadow Messenger wants is to kill Uchiha Itachi, and he will not be injured at all. Uchiha hurriedly retreated, revealing the expression of the rest of his life. Immediately, Uchiha understood the thoughts of the Cloud Shadow Messenger. In that case, then, I will mainly contain me. I will definitely not be this person's opponent. What I have to do is to buy time and create movement as much as possible. This man's pride gave me the opportunity. Uchiha immediately made a judgment. After a few rounds, the Cloud Shadow Envoy's brows furrowed. Little ghost, you are very good, you realized my thoughts so quickly. Yes, I really don't want to get hurt, but I don't want to waste time. So, this is the end of the game. Next, I will kill you with one blow. Even if I get a wound stabbed by you, it doesn't matter. I will remember it. In the future, when I see your people from the Uchiha clan, as long as I have the opportunity, I will definitely kill him. Uchiha's face changed. There is still a huge gap in the strength of the two. The other party is serious. At any cost, they cannot be the opponent of the other party, which means that the next attack, they will definitely die. Can't go on like this. Uchiha's eyes rolled quickly. In that case, let's try that trick. Uchiha put his hands in front of him and quickly froze. Fire, the art of the fireball. A huge fireball formed in front of Uchiha Itachi. The Cloud Shadow Messenger's face changed. This little devil was able to use such a level of fire? You can't resist. The Cloud Shadow Envoy hurriedly retreated. However, when this fireball really struck, the Cloud Shadow Messenger found that this fireball had disappeared by itself before it reached him, which was an empty ninjutsu. The Cloud Shadow Messenger looked to the opposite side. Uchiha Itachi's figure quickly left. Abominable little ghost. Dare to fool me? The Cloud Shadow Envoy's face turned livid. Episode 63, the Cloud Shadow Envoy suddenly chased after him. Little ghost, I must kill you. On the one hand, the Cloud Shadow Envoy is not lightly angered by Uchiha. On the other hand, the Cloud Shadow Envoy knows that once the Uchiha weasel escapes, then it will inevitably be known by other Uchiha people. This is Uchiha's residence, and the Cloud Shadow Envoy is not sure to deal with so many people. Little ghost, stop. If you don't stop, I'll kill this person. You have a good relationship with him as a girl, right? Do you like her? Do you want to see her die? You can't even stop for her. What qualifications do you have to say you like her? Uchiha glanced back, and his speed did not decrease by half a point. This simple agitation method is useless to Uchiha Itachi. Since you have chosen the way of kidnapping, then what you need is definitely a living mouth. I stop, there is no point in it except to send myself to death. I'm not a 3-year-old, I don't go to this kind of thing. However, even if Uchiha was not fooled, the distance between the two was still getting closer and closer. After all, the current Uchiha Itachi has never even graduated from a ninja school. Even if Uchiha has the strength to graduate, even if he graduates, it is just a subordinate. And the other party is obviously particularly tolerant. Uchiha gritted his teeth. Gotta find a way. Uchiha looked at the building next to him, suddenly turned around, and plunged in. Use the terrain to interfere with the other side. The Cloud Shadow Messenger's eyes narrowed slightly. Bully, am I not familiar with the terrain here? However, in the face of absolute strength, these are meaningless. The speed of the Cloud Shadow Envoy does not decrease. Uchiha desperately moved his steps. 1 step, 2 steps. Suddenly, Uchiha's face changed. Because, he found out that he had gone wrong. Ahead, there is a dead end. The only exit is the entrance. At this time, the Cloud Shadow Messenger was standing at the entrance. Little ghost, it seems that you are not very familiar with this place. I picked a dead end. Now I'll give you a choice, do you want to die a little more painfully, or just a little? Forget it, I'll choose. You can tease me just now, and being teased by such a little devil is a shame for me. So I'll let you die slowly, strugglingly, painfully. You don't have a second way. Cloud Shadow Messenger, step by step to Uchiha Itachi, after all. Uchiha Itachi threw several shurikens, but was easily resisted by the Cloud Shadow Emissary. Until, the Cloud Shadow Messenger came to Uchiha Itachi. The sword in his hand, raised high. Little ghost, go and die. Suddenly, high in the sky, a figure appeared. Phew! A shuriken burst through the air, extremely fast. The Cloud Shadow Envoy hurriedly retreated. This is completely different from what Uchiha threw out. Who? The visitor did not look at him, but at Uchiha Itachi. Itachi, are you alright? Father, I'm fine. Uchiha Fugaku nodded and said, it's okay, the rest will be left to me. Father-sama, he kidnapped Izumi. I know. Uchiha Fugaku said, Izumi's home, I've already gone to see it. The Cloud Shadow Messenger's eyes narrowed. Who are you? Uchiha Fugaku. The Cloud Shadow Messenger's pupils shrank. I didn't expect it to be the patriarch of the Uchiha clan. The Cloud Shadow Envoy's heart jumped, this was definitely not an opponent that the Cloud Shadow Envoy could deal with. The gap between the two is as big as the gap between the Cloud Shadow Envoy and the current Uchiha Itachi. Let me go. Otherwise I'll kill her. What the Cloud Shadow Messenger was thinking about was no longer how to take away Uchiha Izumi, but how to save his life. I'm sorry, we Uchiha people, it's impossible for you to take away. Moreover, if you did such a thing to us Uchiha, you still want to leave safely, which is even more impossible. The Cloud Shadow Envoy's face turned cold. Then I'll kill her. With that, a sword stabbed into his back. However, at this moment, in the eyes of Uchiha Fugaku, Sangoyu turned. I said, no way. The moment I appeared, you didn't have any bargaining opportunities. Understand? The movements of the Cloud Shadow Envoy stopped, his eyes became dull, and he fell into the illusion. Uchiha showed an envious expression. Awesome, is this the Sharingan of our Uchiha clan? Uchiha Fugaku took Uchiha Izumi from the back of the Cloud Shadow Emissary and placed it next to Uchiha Itachi. Itachi, Izumi will leave it to you to take care of. Yes, my lord. This person, I will take it back for interrogation, you take Izumi back to our house, stay with your mother, don't walk around, a lot may happen tonight. Okay. By the way, Izumi's mother's affairs, even if she wakes up, don't tell her first. Yes. Uchiha looked at Izumi next to him and sighed. Uchiha Fugaku took the Cloud Shadow Messenger and disappeared. Episode 64, Mother. Uchiha Weasel returns home with the unconscious Uchiha Izumi. Weasel, what's wrong with this? Uchiha Weasel explained the ins and outs of the matter. Izumi's mother, killed by that man. Uchiha Makoto looked at Uchiha Izumi, then at Uchiha Itachi, patted Uchiha Itachi's shoulder, and said, "You've done a good job, it's not your fault. If you hadn't found it in time, Izumi might have been taken away by them, and at that time, no one would know what fate Izumi would have faced." Uchiha Fugaku led the man to the secret room and lifted the mask. Union's people, I didn't expect to be so bold, dare to come to the station of our Uchiha clan to kidnap our Uchiha people, fancy our Sharingan. So, Hinata sighed, will there be people too? Uchiha Fugaku poured a basin of cold water on the Cloud Ninja. Wake up. The Uni Ninja suddenly opened his eyes. Don't kill me, don't kill me. Tell me the ins and outs of the matter, your plan, and I can consider sparing you from death. No, I can't say, the chief will kill me. Don't say, I'll kill you now. Suddenly, a violent explosion sounded in the Hyuga Clan station. Immediately afterwards, a fire burst into flames. Hinata walked out the door. Fire? Did you even use this method? Hinata looked out the door. Ryoyoshi, what's going on? Hayashi-sama, there is a fire on the other side of our family council building, and the fire is very big. I'll come with you. Hinata Hayashi followed Hinata Ryoyoshi out. And at this time, a figure appeared in a corner of Hinata's courtyard. It's countless times easier to go so simply than I thought, Hinata, but so, the perception is quite keen, but it's just a blank eye. As the patriarch of a family, I can't even see through such a simple strategy. Konoha, it's time to fall. Captain Kumikage looked in the direction Hinata and Hinata Ryoyoshi left, and then turned inside the house. There are 3 of them. One Hyuga Ryona, one Hyuga Mitsuki, both of them are members of the Hyuga family, there is nothing to fear. In terms of strength, I am afraid that even the upper shinobi cannot be reached, and it can be easily solved. Kill these 2 and take Hinata, today's plan is a success. When you return to Yunin village, this is a great achievement. Yuning, it will definitely give me a great reward. However, what the Cloud Shadow Captain did not notice was that just when he was observing the movements of the Hyuga clan, there was a secret line of sight that was also observing him, the real Hinata. The one who left with Hyuga Ryoyoshi just now was just the shadow avatar of Hinata Hayashi. The Hyuga family is not good at ninjutsu, but Hyuga Hayashi got a kaleidoscope Sharingan, and with the Sharingan, learning ninjutsu became a very simple thing. Otherwise, Kakashi would not have been able to obtain the name of a replica ninja with the Sharingan. Shadow Doppelganger is one of the many ninjutsu that Hinata has learned. This ninjutsu is different from the multiple shadow avatars, but ordinary ninjutsu, not forbidden art, and it is easy to get. Sure enough. Cloud Shadow Messenger, I didn't expect to be discovered by me for the first time, and the thief's heart is not dead. Originally, I was still thinking about whether to kill you, after all, the Hyuga clan is not strong enough now, and Hinata Chestnut's medical team has not yet completed training. Kamikawa Lei's ninja tools have not been researched and developed. But now, I will kill you. Set fire to the council building of my Hyuga clan, and if you don't kill you, I, the patriarch of my Hyuga clan, will not be competent at all. Captain Kumikage quickly approached the room where Hinata was. On his body, a thunderbolt surged. However, it was at this time that Hinata made a move. A complex pattern appears in Hinata's eyes. Perceptual deprivation. Vision. Hearing. Olfaction. In an instant, Captain Cloud Shadow's 3 perceptions were all shielded. Can't see, can't hear, can't smell. Captain Cloud Shadow fell into a panic. What's wrong? What's the situation? Captain Cloud Shadow thought of a possibility. Could it be that I fell into illusion? But this is impossible, the Hyuga family, not good at illusion, and this is not Uchiha's residence, what is it? Hinata flashed and came behind Captain Kumokage. Soft fist, prick. Chakra condensed in Hinata's hands and turned into a sharp blade. Poof. It pierced into Captain Cloud Shadow's body and pierced his heart. Hinata didn't mean to keep his hand. In the current situation, it is much better for this person to kill than to leave his life. Hinata Hayashi recalled that in the original work, it was because the body of the Cloud Shadow Messenger was preserved that the Cloud Shadow village determined the fact that the Cloud Shadow Messenger was killed by the people of the Hyuga clan. However, if the body of the Cloud Shadow emissary is gone, then what else is the matter with the Hyuga clan? As long as the corpse is destroyed, even if they suspect it, there is no evidence. And the pressure given by Yunin village, let the ape fly the sun chop bear it. Episode 65, Hinata Hayashi controls the return with Ryoyoshi Hinata's shadow doppelganger. After that, Hinata Hayashi took the body of the Cloud Shadow Messenger out, entered the cemetery of the Hyuga clan, buried it in the ground, and leveled the ground so that people could not see the traces of excavation here. Cloud Shadow Messenger? Sorry, I haven't seen it. Hinata looked in the direction of the Hokage building. This time, Sarutobi Sunrise, if you still put pressure on our Hyuga clan, then you can't talk about it. As soon as I returned home, a rush of footsteps sounded. Who? Brother, it's me. What's wrong? I caught someone. Hinata suddenly lowered his voice and said, this person is the murderer of our Hyuga arson, one of the Cloud Shadow Messengers, and I have already imprisoned him in the secret room. Hinata raised her eyebrows and said, who else knows besides you? No more. That's fine, show me around. Hinata thought as she walked. If I kill all the Cloud Ninja who invaded Hinata, and the body is hidden, it will really not be possible to prove that the Cloud Ninja died at the hands of us Hinata. There is no reason why apes fly to the sun to give pressure. However, the remaining Cloud Shadow Messengers will inevitably know. If there really is a big war between Konoha and Yunin village, then our Hyuga clan may become the main target of the Cloud Shadow village's attack, which is not good for Hinata. Hinata's eyes flickered. The two soon entered the cell. A figure, curled up in a corner. Wake up. Hinata poured a basin of cold water down. Hinata, ask him about this, is it known to all of their messenger team, or is it just a part of them? Yes. Uchiha Fugaku came out of the secret room and saw the fire on this side of Hinata's station, and his eyes moved. Yunin village actually chose to do it at the same time for us Uchiha and Hinata this time, wanting to obtain both the Sharingan and the White Eye. This abacus is indeed very good. However, our things from Uchiha are not so easy to take. The Yunin ninja in the secret room has lost his life. I don't know what happened over there. In addition, there is another question, that is, why is this person so familiar with the situation of my Uchiha station, as if someone gave him the map? Who will it be? Is it Tuanzong, or is it Ape Fei Ri who wants to use the hands of Yunin village to weaken our two families, or something else? No, Hinata is finished torturing, and the person is dead. Brother, I'm done asking. How's it going? It was the decision made by their entire messenger squad together, and the source of the intelligence was an undercover agent who had been hiding in Konoha a long time ago in their Yunin village. Not only people from our side, but also from Uchiha's side, they also went. Hinata raised an eyebrow. Cloud Shadow invaded Hinata, this Hinata Hayashi knows, because such a thing happened in the original book, but Cloud Shadow invades Uchiha, this Hinata Hayashi really doesn't know. I know, Hinata, no one can tell this matter, just say that our conference building burned, it was an accident, caused by the wild cat hitting the oil lamp. Yes, brother. Hinata didn't know why Hinata said that, but Hinata Hyuga absolutely trusted Hinata. Watching Hinata's back leave, Hinata sighed. My father's decision back then was right, and my brother's talent is far better than mine. If I become the patriarch, I'm afraid I won't even be able to solve the problem of the elder group. Hinata Hayashi went directly to Uchiha Station. With others, Hinata Hayashi needs Uchiha Fugaku's cooperation to ensure secrecy, but if it is alone, Hinata Hayashi is completely sure that it will not be discovered. Fugaku. Hayashi? Uchiha Fugaku saw Hinata and hurriedly came out. Follow me. The two figures flashed, and finally, they stopped in the woods where the two often met. The Cloud Shadow emissary also did something to you Uchiha, right? Did you Hinata do it too? That's right. Hinata nodded and said, Fugaku, what are your plans? Uchiha Fugaku thought for a while and said, the people who invaded us Uchiha are, I have already killed, this matter, they are the first to lose, Yunin village should not dare to say anything. Hinata shook her head and said, Fugaku, you're thinking wrong. Now is the period of Konoha's trough, the messenger of the Cloud Shadow village, in Konoha, disappeared, and among the Cloud Shadow messenger, the rest of the people know their plan, and must know that it was our hand. Konoha is weak, and if Yunin village dies, it will definitely not be willing, then, it will put pressure on Konoha. Fugaku, guess how the ape flying sun will deal with this pressure? Uchiha Fugaku frowned. With the personality of the ape flying sun, in this case, he will definitely choose to be soft. Moreover, this matter, Yunin village investigates, the loss is my Uchiha, and your Hinata, our two family losses, ape flying sun / is even expected. Episode 66. Yes, then the pressure came to us Hinata and you Uchiha. Yunin village, will it be so shameless? Between villages and villages, where there is no shamelessness, everything is profit. Hinata Hayashi said, besides, we have no evidence that they came to steal the White Eye and the Sharingan. Even if they die on our premises, they can say that they broken by accident. But people are dead, that's a fact. Uchiha Fugaku's eyes flickered. Hiashi, what's your plan? Hinata Hiashi showed a smile and said, it's very simple, that is, kill all the messengers of Union Village. As long as we kill them all and dispose of all their bodies, then no one will know that they died in our hands, and even if they guess, they can't be sure. The people of Union Village may also know about this plan. However, it will not be as clear as the people in the messenger squad know. If the messenger team is still alive, they will clearly know that their companions died at the hands of Uchiha and Hinata, and the main target of Union Village will be Hinata and Uchiha. In this case, the ape flying sun may push the boat along the water. And none of the messenger team survived, so the cloud ninja who was far away in the land of thunder could not be sure what happened in Konoha. They think about the situation more. For example, does Konoha have any conspiracies? Therefore, the main target will not be concentrated on Hinata and Uchiha. If Ape Flying Sun Chopper wants to pass on the pressure, it is not so easy. Without further ado, we'll do it now. Good. The figures of the two quickly approached the location where the Cloud Shadow Envoy temporarily lived. There are 9 people in total, there are 6 left, 3 of you and 3 of me. Yes. Uchiha Fugaku's eyes were filled with chakra eyes activating. Illusion. Suddenly, the 3 people in the room on the left all fell into illusion. In the other room, Hinata Hiashi also used the Sharingan. Hinata Hiashi does not think that the Sharingan is better than the White Eye, but in different situations, the advantages of the 2 blood succession limits are different, and the White Eye is better at detecting the enemy situation on the battlefield. And what Sharingan is good at is what Hinata Hiashi is doing now. Illusion. The 3 fall into illusion. Soft fist, prick. Poof. Suddenly, the hearts of the 3 people were shattered, and they snorted directly, and they lost their lives. Take the corpse and jump down. Uchiha Fugaku came down from the other side almost at the same time. The 2 looked at each other and went in different directions. Hinata Hiashi took the 3 corpses to the Hyuga Clan cemetery, and just like the previous treatment of the man's body, all the things that could prove their identity were removed. After that, it is buried in the soil. A ray of light, coming from the east. The sun rises slowly. The conference building of the Hyuga family has almost been cleaned up, and Hinata has spread the news in advance, and the cause of the fire in the conference building is because of a wild cat. Even if some people would think of the disappearance of the Cloud Shadow Messenger, the Hyuga clan had every reason to prove that the 2 were unrelated. And as for whether the other party believes it or not, that's another matter. Except for Hinata, Uchiha Fugaku, Uchiha Itachi, Uchiha Mikoto, Uchiha Izumi, no one else knows which one what happened last night. On Hinata's side, Hinata Hiashi can guarantee that no one will leak the news. Uchiha Fugaku's side will also be restrained. It was a calm night for the rest of Konoha, no different from countless nights before. But when it was close to noon, Ape Flying Sun Chopper sensed that something was wrong. Cloud Shadow Messenger, haven't those people come out of the room yet? Lord Hokage, no. What are their plans today? It's a visit to our ninja school. Ape Fairy frowned and said, it's not quite right, you immediately let people see what the situation is. Yes, Naruto-sama. The dark ninja immediately went to the place where the Cloud Shadow emissary was. Bang bang. There was a knock on the door, but there was no response. The dark ninja hesitated and pushed open the door. It was empty. Not good. The dark ninja hurriedly returned to the Naruto building. Naruto-sama, it's not good. There was no one in there. Cloud Shadow Messengers, all are missing. Ape Fairy Chopper suddenly stood up, his eyes widened. What's the situation? Hurry up and send someone to find it. Yes, Naruto-sama. Sarutobi walked back and forth in the office, his brows furrowed. The disappearance of all the Cloud Shadow Messengers in Konoha is not a trivial matter. If it is not handled well, then it is likely to cause a war between Konoha and Union Village. This matter must be investigated as soon as possible. Judging from the current situation, it is very likely that something happened to me. But who did it? Tuanzo? Uchiha? Or Hinata? In Ape-Face Sancho's mind, one name after another appeared. Episode 67. When the results of the investigation of the people in the dark department come out, no matter who it is, I must make him pay. With the current situation in Konoha, do you dare to do such a thing? Is it deliberately causing me trouble? If Union Village is held accountable, then this result will be borne by yourselves. Not long after, the dark department personnel returned. How? The shadow ninja shook his head and said, Naruto-sama, we searched for many places and found nothing. Those Cloud Shadow Messengers, it was as if they disappeared out of thin air. It is impossible to disappear out of thin air. But we really didn't find any clues. If you don't find it, then look for it again. Yes, Naruto-sama. Ape-Face-san's face became gloomy. Who the hell is it? In a dark basement, Tuanzang's expression darkened. These people from Kumikage, after getting the information I provided them, must have invaded Uchiha or Hinata's house, snatching the white eye and the Sharingan. Now that he is missing, he must be inseparable from these two families. Humph, what a big boldness, he actually killed all the people of Uniing. Is it Hinata, or Uchiha? These ninjas of Cloud Shadow are really stupid, snatching the white eye or riding wheel eye, 1 or 2 people to steal, is the best choice, actually choose to go out with all the staff. Do you really think this is still Union Village? A bunch of idiots. Well, it's all dead now. My plans have also been greatly disrupted because of you. Tuanzo was upset. The death of all the Cloud Shadow emissaries would inevitably cause a great backlash from Union Village, but now, there is no evidence that Hinata or Uchiha's people did it. Then, Union Village must attribute this responsibility to Konoha. If it is not handled well, it will cause a big battle between Konoha and Kumikage Village. The chaos in Konoha is what Danzo wants. However, what Danzo wanted was not this level of chaos, but rather, first hit Uchiha and Hinata, and then chaos. Now even if Sarutobi Hinata dies, Danzo faces Uchiha and Hinata, and he can't safely get the position of Hokage. Danzo's plan is to weaken the forces of Uchiha, Hinata, and Sarutobi at the same time. And in this way, it is convenient for yourself to get on the top. It's just that weakening the ape flying sun / it is not of great significance to Tuanzang. Waste. Hinata Hayashi sat at home, listening to Ryoyoshi Hinata's return, and nodded slightly. I see. Ryoyoshi, this matter has nothing to do with our Hyuga clan, but Konoha will definitely mess around for a while, and this time restrain Hinata's clan and let them go out less. Yes, Hinata-sama. On the other hand, Uchiha Fugaku made the same arrangement. The dark ninja returned to Sarutobi again. Naruto-sama, still no. Waste. Ape-Face-san smashed the teacup in his hand to the ground, shattering into countless fragments. The dark ninja did not dare to move, even if a fragment fell on the face of the dark ninja, it immediately scratched the dark ninja, and blood flowed out. Ape-Fei recalmed his mood a little. Go and investigate, last night, which family, or somewhere special happened, especially Uchiha, Hinata, and the area where the roots are located. Yes. Not long after, the dark ninja returned. Naruto-sama, we've investigated them all. Nothing happened last night, and no one heard any sounds or traces of fighting, but yesterday, the conference building of Hinata's house caught fire accidentally. According to the Hyuga family, it was because the wild cat knocked over the oil lamp. Ape-Fei frowned. On fire? The whole of Konoha, there was no accident in other places, there was an accident with the Hyuga clan, and the disappearance of the Cloud Shadow Messenger must be inseparable from the Hyuga clan. Go and let Hinata come to see me. The dark ninja hesitated. Naruto-sama, this is far-fetched, isn't it? Let you go. Sarutobi looked at the disappearing back of the dark ninja and snorted coldly. A dark department dares to oppose my decision? Soon, the dark ninja came to Hinata. Hinata-sama, Naruto-sama, please come over. Invite me over? Yes. Did you say something? Nope. Hinata nodded and said, I know, I'll go right away. Hinata got up, her brows furrowed. Does Ape Flying Sun Chopper suspect me? By what? Why? Hinata shook her head. I don't know if he found anyone else besides me. Yesterday's incident should not have been discovered by anyone, and with my Fugaku strength, it is almost impossible for those ninjas in the dark en route to detect our tracks. I've done things almost perfectly, I want to see what the Ape Flying Sun cut him to find me for. Hinata looked in the direction of the Hokage building, her eyes flickering. Liana, I'll go out, you guys stay safe at home. Okay. Episode 68. Hinata arrived at the Hokage building, went upstairs, and walked into the Hokage office. Naruto-sama, I wonder what you are looking for me for. Now that the two sides have not torn their faces, Hinata maintains a superficial politeness. Do you know about the disappearance of the Cloud Shadow Messenger? Sarutobi glanced at Hinata. For what Hyuga Hayashi did to succeed the Hyuga Patriarch, the changes in the Hyuga clan were known to Sarutobi Hinata, so Sarutobi Hinata was jealous of Hinata. Those in power are afraid not that the people below are incapable, as long as they are obedient, but that the people below are too capable. You know, that's a weird thing. Hinata Hayashi said, I was surprised when Ryoyoshi came to talk to me this morning. Naruto-sama, I think this may be a conspiracy. Hinata thought about it and decided to muddy the water. Conspiracy? Yes, the current situation in Konoha, the major ninja villages know that it is now the trough of our Konoha, and the death of the fourth generation is a very tragic loss for us Konoha. And the other ninja villages will inevitably seize this opportunity. The purpose of the Cloud Shadow Envoy coming to Konoha may be for this. I think that the disappearance of the Cloud Shadow Envoy may have been intentional by themselves. Ape Fairy frowned. Hinata Hayashi continued, Humo Hidden Village, I want to attack us Konoha, but there is no reason to suffer. But if the Cloud Shadow Emissary disappears in our Konoha, then there is a reason. They can then ask us to be in charge of Konoha. Let's find someone in Konoha. But, man, maybe he has returned to Yunin Village, and we can't find it anyway. Then at this time, Yunin Village can claim compensation from us Konoha. Our Konoha's coping strategy is either war or reparations. But at present, we in Konoha cannot support the war. Only compensation. That's the purpose of Yunin Village. Lord Naruto, think about it, the strength of the Cloud Shadow Envoy is not weak, who can kill them all so unconsciously and deal with them clean. Sarutobi Hinata frowned, feeling that what Hinata said did make some sense. The strength of the Cloud Shadow Envoy is not weak. Quietly solving all 9 people is not an easy task. Ape Fairy Chop felt that even if he made his own move, he might not be able to do it. And Sarutobi Hinata, does not feel that Hinata is stronger than himself. Moreover, what Hinata said, Sarutobi Hinata felt, it seemed that there was also this possibility. Hinata, yesterday your Hyuga family's conference building caught fire? Yes. Hinata nodded and said, a wild cat knocked over the oil lamp, but the problem is not big, it is only burned a little, and it was discovered very early, and it did not cause much damage. Are you sure it's a wildcat? Yes, our conference building is an empty shell, with nothing in it. Sarutobi nodded. I know, it's okay, but you still have to pay attention to safety. Thank you Naruto-sama for your concern, it's okay, I'll leave first. Good. Sarutobi Hinata stared at Hinata's back, his eyes flickered, this time let Hinata come over. Sarutobi Hinata originally intended to question Hinata. However, Hinata Hayashi preemptively proposed a conspiracy theory of Cloud Shadow Village, and immediately Sarutobi Hinata's attention was on this conspiracy theory, because the possibility is really great. Let the deer come for a long time. Sarutobi looked at one of the dark outside. Yes, Naruto-sama. Hinata Hayashi came out of the Hokage building and went straight home. Husband, is there anything wrong? It's okay, Naruto-sama just cared about the fire at our Hyuga house last night. Uchiha Fugaku was a little worried. In the study, pacing back and forth. Why did Sarutobi Hinata ask Hayashi to go to the Hokage building? For what reason? Suspect that Hayashi has something to do with the disappearance of Cloud Shadow? Will that affect me? No, I have to ask Hayashi. As soon as he walked out the door, Uchiha Fugaku stopped again. Nope. Now is the critical moment, maybe it will be enough, my every move, there are people secretly and closely monitored, what I have to do now, is to do nothing, once done, it will cause people to be suspicious. The matter of the Cloud Shadow Messenger, Hayashi, and I have already handled it well. I'm sure Hayashi won't be stumped by such a simple question. Uchiha Fugaku returned to the study. Not long after, Nara Shikahiza came to Hokage's office. Shikaku, what do you think will be the situation? Nara Shikaku was silent for a while, and said, it is not impossible that Hinata Hayashi proposed this possibility. On the other hand, if the disappearance of the Cloud Shadow Messenger was done by the Hyuga family, then there are many doubts. First of all, the Cloud Shadow Messenger, how can he know the details of Hinata Station? The details of Hinata Station, even we don't know. Second, even if the Cloud Shadow Envoy is interested in White Eyes, then he shouldn't all be dispatched. This kind of thing, it must be that the fewer people the better, and sending elites is the best. Episode 69, a lot of irrationalities. Sarutobi nodded and said, indeed, the Hyuga clan, almost no outsiders enter, even me, I don't know much about the situation inside. Yuning, it is impossible to know so clearly, in this case, their idea of rolling their eyes is unrealistic, in comparison, they might as well choose to right-wheel eyes. After all, white eyes, only the people of the Hyuga clan can obtain it. Uchiha, on the other hand, there is no difference between the sect family and the division of the family. Last night, there was a fire on Hinata's side, and on Uchiha's side, nothing happened. Even if they know about Hinata Station through some channel, in this case, a powerful ninja is the best choice. More people are easier to expose and less likely to succeed. At least, there are a few people left. Nara Shikahiza nodded. Naruto-sama said so. Therefore, I think that the possibility that Hinata Hayashi proposed that this is a conspiracy in Kumikage village is greater, and those missing Komodo ninjas may have returned to Kumahide village. This is just an excuse made by Yunin village. Ape Fairy's face sank. These people from Cloud Shadow village are too much. Play us like monkeys? Ape Flying Sun Chopper was very dissatisfied, and he returned to the position of Hokage, and Yunin village came out like this, and Ape Flying Sun Chopper felt that Yunin village did not put him in his eyes at all. This made Sarutobi very angry. Let Ape Fairy Chop feel that the people of Yunin village think that he is inferior to Watergate. Shikaku, what do you think? Nara Shikaku thought for a while. Naruto-sama, I think we can do this. Nara Shikahiza said, not many people know about the disappearance of the Cloud Shadow Messenger now. We can use the ninja in the dark part to disguise themselves as the Cloud Shadow Messenger. After that, follow the previous schedule of the Cloud Shadow Emissary and continue with the following activities. Until the end. After that, let our people, pretending to be Cloud Shadow Messengers, leave Konoha and return to Cloud Shadow Village, and let our people return after leaving the realm of the Land of Fire. At that time, the disappearance of the Cloud Shadow Messenger had nothing to do with us in Konoha. Ape Fairy's eyes lit up. Good strategy. Sure enough, it's a deer. This method is good, just do it. This matter will be left to Lugio to be responsible for you. Nara Shikahiza nodded. Yes, Naruto-sama. So, the missing Cloud Shadow Messenger reappeared. Uchiha Fugaku looked confused. What's going on? Came back from the dead? Uchiha Fugaku hurriedly went to look, only to find that those Cloud Shadow Messengers were all pretending. Suddenly, Uchiha Fugaku's expression became very strange. This is the decision of the Ape Flying Sun? In this way, Hyashi's side is not exposed. You can rest assured. This strategy should have been thought up by the people of the Nara clan, only they can be so cunning. Uchiha Fugaku put his heart down. Just as confused as Uchiha Fugaku, there is also Danzo. When he learned that the Cloud Shadow Emissary had reappeared, Tuanzong immediately showed a shocked expression. Use the ninja of the dark part, pretending to be the Cloud Shadow Messenger? What kind of operation is this? Tuanzong felt that his brain was a little inadequate. The development of things completely exceeded Tuanzang's expectations. What is this doing? Don't investigate? Tuanzang's face turned gloomy. This is outside of Tuanzang's plan, and even, it makes Tuanzong completely invisible how to get benefits from it. Ape Flying Sun Chopper pretended that nothing had happened, and still communicated with the Cloud Shadow Envoy cordially at the right time. When it comes to acting, Sarutobi believes that he is not weaker than anyone. So this matter has nothing to do with Hinata and Uchiha. Hinata Hayashi was quite satisfied with this result. At this point in time, the Hyuga family has not yet reached the time to drop the table. Hyuga Hayashi's 2 plans have not yet been completed, and Hyuga alone cannot protect the entire Hyuga family. This is the difference between a family ninja and an ordinary ninja. Ordinary ninjas can defect without saying a word. It's like a big snake pill, no one can do anything with him. But Hinata Hayashi can't do this. Hinata Hayashi is the patriarch of the Hyuga clan, wife, daughter, family, all in the Hyuga family, everything, must consider the consequences. Can't be too capricious. Similar to this time, the current processing results are very good. A little flickering takes things in a completely different direction. Now the fire of the Cloud Shadow Messenger, no matter how it burns, it will not be able to burn the Hyuga family. Things that can use your brain, in fact, there is no need to do it. Hinata Hayashi glanced at the disguised Cloud Shadow Messenger squad, and then withdrew his gaze. Finally, everything on the plan of the Cloud Shadow Emissary was completed. At this time, the disguised Cloud Shadow Messenger squad said goodbye to the Ape Flying Sun, left Konoha, and went all the way from the Land of Fire to the Land of Thunder, passing through small countries in the middle. Suddenly, shortly after entering the Land of Iron, the Cloud Shadow Messenger squad disappeared. When Yunin village got the news, he was stunned. Episode 70, Bang! The table in front of Lei Ying was directly hammered. What do you mean? The people of my Yunin village are just gone? Won't you give an explanation over there in Konoha? Kami Shinobi said in return, Lord Thunder Kage, according to the information we have obtained now, our people did not have an accident in Konoha, but on the way back to the Land of Thunder, having left the Land of Fire, it was in the territory of the Land of Iron, and suddenly disappeared. Very strange. The luggage is all there, but the people are gone. It's like evaporating out of thin air. Lei Ying's brows furrowed and said, this information was obtained by our own investigation? Yes. Kami Shinobu nodded and said, the information that Konoha gave us over there is similar to what we investigated ourselves, but this is very unreasonable, and I think there must be something hidden in it. We can only wait for our undercover agents in Konoha to deliver the news back to us. Yunin village is undercover in Konoha, and there is more than one. However, except for the one who has been controlled by Danzo, the remaining undercover agents are only staying in Konoha as ordinary people, and there are not many things they can touch. And the plan of the dark part of the ape flying sun to pretend to be the cloud shadow messenger this time is only known to a very few people. Ape flying sun chop. Narashikahiza. The dark part pretending to be the cloud shadow messenger. And those who knew that the cloud shadow messenger was dead. Yunin village is undercover in Konoha and does not know this. However, they also noticed the change in the cloud shadow messenger. After all, these dark parts did not have such skills before, and their acting skills were limited, and they could not perfectly restore the characters, even if they looked exactly the same after transformation. But there is still a difference between words and deeds. A pigeon landed in front of Lei Ying. Lord Thundershadow? Lei Ying handed the letter on the pigeon's leg to the upper shinobu below, and said, I know, there must be a problem. After a while, Shan Shinobu finished reading it. The people of the emissary team did not carry out our plan one day, and they were supposed to visit the ninja school in Konoha, but that day did not pass. Moreover, I didn't even go out the door, and I stayed until it was close to the afternoon. It's a very strange point. In addition, after that day, our messenger state became very strange, a little different from before, and it felt like it was under some control. Lei Kage interrupted and said, it must have been controlled by Konoha's people. These people in Konoha must have wanted to learn about our Yunin village from our messengers, but they didn't expect them to be so bold. People who directly control us. I don't know what kind of intelligence they got from this. It's too much. I simply don't treat our Yunin village as a person. When our messenger returned to Yunin village, I was afraid that we would be discovered, so I killed all our messengers halfway and created one for us. It was our people, and we encountered an accident. It's really calculating. The people of Konoha have always been like this. Lei Ying recalled some of his previous experiences. That Thunder Shadow people, what do we do now? Of course, to the end. Lei Ying said, I can't let our people die in vain, hurt the people of our Yunin village, we must pay the price, and the blood debt must be paid in blood, but we have no reason. Reason? After all, we learned that something was wrong with our messenger and got it from the undercover mouth, and this matter cannot be said in the open. No need for a reason. Lei Ying said, the people of our Yunin village are gone, they were gone when they went to Konoha, and this matter, Konoha must give us an explanation to Yunin village. Write to Konoha right away, in a stronger tone. Yes, Lord Thundershadow. A messenger, walking out of Yunin village again, carried a letter, not written by Lei Ying himself, but stamped with Lei Ying's seal, representing Lei Ying's attitude. A few days later, this person arrived in Konoha. Naruto-sama, this is our letter from Lord Lei Ying. Sarutobi frowned. Open it, take a look. Above is a very serious rebuke, attributing the disappearance of the Cloud Shadow Messenger to Konoha. Ape Fei's eyes flickered. I have already handled this matter so perfectly, Yunin village, can I even use this as an excuse to hold us Konoha accountable, just because we Konoha, the Hokage, are good bullies? Ape Flying Sun snorted coldly. Humph. You Cloud Shadow Messenger, what happened in the Land of Iron, what does it matter to us in Konoha? Do we Konoha still have to be responsible for the safety of your Yunin village people for life? Who knows what they did in the Land of Iron? It's none of our business. To investigate, you Yunin village will investigate yourself. Sarutobi threw the letter directly on the ground. The Cloud Shadow Messenger picked it up. Naruto-sama, is this Konoha's attitude to this matter? We lost 9 people in Yunin village, and these 9 people are important people in our Yunin village. They came to Konoha to encounter such a thing. Don't Konoha want to take responsibility at all?